name is Herman, this is Flynn, Brian Flynn, and Andrew Burke. We're here to talk to you guys about our email marketing system, which is just an easy way for you to communicate with your participants. So what we're just going to go through a little bit of general settings, sending email process, creating lists, and then email deliverability. So to start with the general settings, most of you don't know, once you go into email marketing, send emails, if you have it enabled, it's going to take you to the manage email settings. This is where you enable it and set your basic settings for your email marketing. So with the basic settings, you'll have your from name. So this is what the email recipient is going to see in their inbox with who the email is from. Normally it could just be your race name, your name, any catchy phrase that you want them to see. By default, the reply to email address is going to be no reply at RunSignup.com, which just lets them know that they can't reply to the email. So if you want your participants or whoever you're emailing to be able to reply directly to you, you can set your email address into this. So once they hit reply to the email that you send out, it'll go directly to you. Normally that's just set to the race contact email. That's set in the race wizard when you're creating your race. Also on this page, we have our white labeling settings, which will just help with your email delivery rate. If you own your own domain, you're able to set up the advanced white labeling. You do that in your DNS settings with who's hosting your website. Other than that, we have simple white labeling, which will just default to email being sent from your reply to email address. So with white labeling, it's more of an advanced feature. So the average user probably does not know about it, but it's just kind of broken down in 3 steps. With the no white labeling, the reply from address is just going to be the no reply at RunSignup or the reply to address that you set. The simple white labeling is going to be from the reply to address, and the advanced white labeling is going to be from your domain. And Flynn's going to go and talk to you guys about sending emails.
First and foremost, one of the most important things to do when you guys come over to RunSignup from a different platform is to get those custom lists. Really, you need those email addresses. You want to upload those into our CRM so then you're able to broaden your email marketing rather than just email marketing the small pool of participants that registered to the current date you're at. When you download those lists, you're going to be able to have custom lists. You'll have your common lists essentially from maybe this year or previous year's participants if you are already on our CRM. And you'll be able to drill into all of those lists to send emails there. So the nice thing is if I populate in every single one of those lists, I'm just going to get one email. You'll be able to see if those emails are delivered. You're not going to be able to go into like an in-depth open, who opened it and when and things like that, but you will be able to see if those emails are being delivered, and you can obviously exclude certain lists that you don't want the email to go out to. And sometimes you can really be a little bit more specific, and rather than sending a general email, if you have a 5K, 10K and a half, you can set up 3 different emails so it's relative to each participant, especially if they have a different start time or location. So these are just the general settings for the email. You definitely need to name the email and name it something that's going to be relative. So if you pull it back up, maybe for the next year, you can copy and paste the body so you can save a little bit of time. And then obviously the email subject that's going to go out, and you can send it right away, or you can send an email later, and you can send it out a certain day at a certain time that's going to be most relative for your participants and when the open rate is going to be at the highest for them when they're going to actually see it. So once you open your template, this is our example template or default template that you're able to use there. You can also have a blank template, which I'll show you in a little bit. And there's going to be a huge list. What is there, about 30 replacement tags maybe?
I'm not showing the exact number, but it is quite a lot.
So you can use that to populate within the body of the email so it can tag certain items and certain replacement tags to go out there depending on why you're sending it. Maybe you're sending out a bid assignment, maybe you're sending out last minute information and stuff like that. Whatever you want to drill into there, you're able to do that. Here's the different ways or different times of sending the emails. You can always save it as a draft and come back to it later without setting up a certain time for it to send out. And to get to that, you just want to go into your Manage Emails page, and you can continuously update that as you move on. You can also send a test email, but that's not going to include your replacement tags. But you can see what it looks like as it's shrunk down on your phone, or as it's going to display on your computer. And most of your participants are probably going to see the emails on their phone, so you definitely want to test it to make sure it's clear on your phone as well. And then obviously just the send the email immediately. And this is just, the information that you can kind of drill into in your emails. The most relative is maybe the number of recipients that it hit, the excluded participants, and those emails that are removed for your duplicate participants that might be in several lists, and what attachments. So I'm sure a lot of you know one cool thing within our email marketing system is if you set up your sponsors and you have that linkable logo set up, your sponsor logos are going to automatically populate when you send emails. So that's just a cool leverage tool that you guys can have for your sponsors. And you can even show them this, like there was 856 recipients that were receiving your sponsorship logo that was linkable. So that's just a cool little tool that you have in your back pocket that some people don't really know about, but I'm sure a lot of people use that.
So now I'm going to talk to you guys about the custom lists he was making note of, so how to upload them, and then we're going to cover some email templates. So when creating a custom list, you'll just do this under Email Marketing Manage List, and there will be the link to add a new list. So with your custom list, you can have as many as you want. So this way, if you have, let's see, previous winners, past participants, anything that you want to drill down like that. So when creating the list, you can name them, and then you can have those set target lists. So you are able to pull in emails that are not in RunSignup and add them to your custom list. There are no limits to the amount of emails that you can have in your custom list. Some things that you do want to remember. So say if you have an email list that's 10 years old, some of those email addresses that are no longer being used, they turn into spam traps. So what happens with spam traps is when you send out an email, the email on that list starts spamming the other emails, and then your emails are getting reported spam, blocked, undelivered, things of that nature. So we're not able to nail down on which email is the spam trap, but we are able to narrow it down on the list. So if you are sending out spam traps, we'll reach out to you. Hey, can you clean up your email list? Basically just go through, maybe cross-reference with some of your participant list and just see what emails are not registering, emails that are not replying to you, things of that nature. So when creating the email list, it's 3 different options that you have. You can use the RunSignup contacts, you can upload a custom contacts list or existing custom contact list. So the first option is more specific to your race in general. So you can break down your list by events. So you can go through your 10K, your 5K, your half, your marathon. Previous years, you're able to select to add those into the custom list. If you want to do a list based on just groups and teams, team captains, you're able to narrow it down like that. And then if you do use the corporate team feature, you're able to do the same thing. So we have a volunteer email list. It's not as good as the email marketing one, but it's coming along. So this way, if you want to use more features, more replacement tags to target your volunteers, talk to them, you're able to select the volunteer task, volunteer coordinators, and it just drills down into as deep as you can get into setting it up. So for uploading custom contacts, it's going to need to be a CSV file. So if you're not aware of what a CSV file is, if you just go into your Excel file and you go File, Save As, and you change the format, you'll see the CSV option. So with your custom list, you could just use the column headers. So if you look on the left-hand side, you'll have some of the fields. Email address is the bare minimum for what we would need for an email list. First name, last name. Some others are replacement tags. So with the custom list, if you just download your participant list, you just import that in as a custom list, we're not going to have the information for the replacement tags. So you need to add it in. So what you could just do is add a new column into your file. You could set it as the replacement tags. So you see we have date of birth, bib number, giveaway item. So it's just a long list of that. This tool will automatically pull up when you are uploading your CSV for your custom list. And then what you can just do is map it to the column in your file. So this way, if you're sending out an email to a custom list, you want to use replacement tags, it's going to pull that data in from the file, so it's going to work correctly A lot of times, if you just have email address in there and you try to use replacement tags with a custom list, there's no information for that replacement tag to pull. So your replacement tag stays replacement tag in email, and you're wondering why it's not working. Lastly, we have the existing custom list. Essentially, it's just you can add them one by one. You can edit the current list that you have. So if we did have a list with some contacts in it, you'd see those. So you can add them one by one if you need to make quick edits to a list. So with the template options, so if you have different marketing techniques, so you use different colors for different type of emails, or you have certain templates that you want to use, maybe a month out, week out, day before, things like that, you can create these different templates so you don't have to keep constantly creating your emails year after year. So RunSignup template is our most recent one. It's going to be fully mobile responsive, which just means if somebody's opening it on a cell phone or a tablet, the screen size is going to narrow down for the width of the screen. Makes it a lot easier to see. Instead of with our legacy template, it's going to look the same way on a desktop as it does on a mobile phone. So if you're sending that out, when somebody opens it, they're going to have to pinch, pull, do all of that scrolling to see your whole email, opposed to the RunSignup template, which will scale it down and fit everything in the window. And the third one is just a blank template. So it's just going to be the white screen. So this is what the RunSignup template would look. So I had to break it down into 2 different screenshots because this is only so big. So this would be the top. So if you pretend that this is stacked on top of that, that will kind of give you your email. So you have your sign up button, your race name, your race information. The automated email text is where you would write the body of your email. So you could just delete that out, type in your email to your participants, use whatever replacement tags you would like. There's a link to contact the race. There's a link to go to your race website, and there's an unsubscribe link. So a lot of things participants accidentally unsubscribe. So there is an unsubscribe list under the email marketing reports where you can go to resubscribe those participants who have unsubscribed. So if you get emails from participants, hey, I'm not getting any of your emails, normally you're just going to want to check the unsubscribe list because that's mostly where they're going to be. So when setting up a legacy template, we're going to give you a few different options of how you can customize that. The first is going to be the header. So if you want the banner, name, location, date, all of that in there, you can do it. So you can narrow it down so it's less information. You could just go with the banner only so you have your nice image across the top, or just the race logo, or no header at all. You could change the width of the email. You could change how the body aligns, center, left, footer, sponsor. So you can include your race sponsors in your email if you would like. You can use a custom web theme, or you can use the one that your race is using, or you can have the borders on there or not. Didn't cover the blank template because it's just a plain white, but this is a look at what the legacy will look like. So it's essentially the same thing, but if you can tell, the sign up button is below instead of up top in the right corner. Your banners are across the top, and then it kind of just looks like the main setup on your race page, just scaled down a little bit. And then you just put the body of the text in, and then the bottom is essentially the same.
Okay, so we'll go a little bit more into automated emails. So there's 3 different types of automated emails that are set up standard. You have your incomplete registration emails. So the neat thing about that is, let's say if I go in to register for a race and I get distracted or whatever, you can set up the time and day interval you want that to go out. So let's say if I go into a race, I'm in there for a few minutes, I start to sign up, but I don't finish. You don't want to email the participant 90 seconds later because it's not going to be relative. So you can set up to go out, a day later, maybe 3 days later. So it's going to be more effective to try to get them to come back and sign up, and then you can customize that email a little bit as well, maybe with some images or something to give them some incentives to come back and sign up to intrigue them a little bit. Another one that's important, especially if you have referrals enabled or something like that, is the price increase reminder. And that's also really relative to your past participants. So you have a lot of people that are planning to do the race, and it's like, oh shoot, I forgot there's a price increase. You can email them 48 hours before the price increase, a couple of days before, the day before, and that's the best way for them to tell their friends or them to jump in and sign up before that price increase goes up. And then another obvious one is your registration follow-up. So that's a great one to go out maybe 3 days after they sign up, and that could just reiterate anything that they probably didn't see on the website or while they were signing up that you want them to see. But then still, just like before, you can go into your send emails and send out an email at a certain day and certain time with pertinent information for the race. So if it's a Saturday race, maybe a Wednesday before, you can have an email scheduled to go out. And it could almost be identical to the registration follow-up email unless things change or something like that. So here's where you go into your incomplete registration email settings. So the first thing you need to do is enable those, and then here's where you can set up your intervals. So the standard one is 3 days after going out at 10 a.m., but you can have them go out all on a specific calendar date, which really isn't standard because people register so many different days, but then you can have it go out at a certain time. So depending on when you think people are going to read them, it's after work, before work, during lunch. And just like the other emails, they're going to go out within 5 minutes of that scheduled time for you. Price increase emails, again, it's just like the custom list. You're only going to get one email per participant, and you have to enable these first. And really, same setup as before. You go out however many days you want before the price increase, and you can have an email sent out at a certain time. You can also add intervals. So maybe you want one like a week out and then 2 days out, which can be pretty effective. Because a lot of times you have one email and you kind of ignore it, and then you see that second one, it's like a good reminder, oh hey, they're not messing around, I better go in there and register, especially if it's going to be like a $10 jump or something like that. And here's the registration follow-up emails. So I've enabled them as well, and then you can send them out on intervals, however many days after they register, and then really packet pickup information. If there's any race promotions, if you have like a referral system that you want them to know about, if they have a unique code to refer their friends and stuff like that, this is something you want to go out. So if you do have that unique code that's going out for our referral reward where they get a financial incentive or a swag reward, you probably want that to go out immediately so they have their code ASAP so you can solve a problem before it happens. So this is a example of an email using our system and using some of the tags in there. And this is a referral reward or swag reward setup. So you can see they're going to have their unique code there in the middle. So if they get 5 friends, they have that $25 reward, but then they also have some swag in there as well. So you can see you can set that up based on however you want to do it. So their big reward is 20 friends, you get that hoodie. And as far as financial rewards, the average threshold is about 2.6 referrals per participant. So you just want to make sure that when you set this up, you're setting it up so you guys are going to be making money rather than losing money based on your participants. But that's a whole different caveat. And I think you guys can all figure out this is a blank template. But again, you can still use the tags, and this is a straight follow-up for financial incentive. So after 3 friends, you'll get $25. After 5, you'll get $50. And then they have a couple of things they want you to know about. But when you do set up those referral rewards, you ensure the balance doesn't go below 0, so people aren't making money like a pyramid scheme or something like that.
So next thing we're going to cover is etiquette and deliverability. A lot of people wonder, are my emails actually getting to my participants? So 21% of emails globally don't make it to where they were sent to. Reasons for that may vary based on the inbox settings. So a lot of times participants register with company emails. Some companies, their IT programs filter out emails that look like they're being sent from automated system. This is just a tool to prevent spam. So a lot of emails do have those in place. A lot of times if somebody's not opening emails or they're just deleting emails when they come in, their inbox is smart enough to say, well, you never open emails from no reply at RunSignup, so we're going to stop sending you those. We're going to filter those out to save your inbox from getting spam. So those are some of the things that factor into emails just not getting delivered. So we have reporting for your emails. So these are going to be your statistics, which are going to be in the email marketing, send grid, email statistics. So this is kind of broken down by day. You can see the request, the deliver rate, open rate, click rate, bounce rate, spam rate report. So some things to remember on this report. So if we take a look, say we sent out an email on the 1st, if nobody opens that email on the 1st, and let's say everybody gets to it on the 2nd, you could have 0 opens on the 1st and 100 opens on the 2nd, even though you did not send the email out on the 2nd. So this is going to go for all of the emails you're sent. So we're not able to narrow it down to see which email somebody opened on what day. It's just going to give you a general idea of the email was opened. The open rate is just how many times somebody opens an email. So if I get an email, I open it today. I was like, well, I want to save it for later. I'll mark it as unread, come back, open it tomorrow. Both opens are going to count. So we do track unique opens, which is just the first time somebody opens a link. So the unique opens, if I open it today, it's going to count as 1. If I open it tomorrow, it's not going to count as 2. Click rates, the same thing. The clicks, you click a link in the email today, you do it again tomorrow, it's going to count as 2 clicks. With the unique clicks, it's just going to count the very first time that I do that. And then the bounce rate is just, did the email get to where it's going? Yes or no. And then the spam report is, did any of these emails that I sent out come back as spam? So that's with the spam trap emails. That could be from the old emails in your list from 2008. You're wondering why some of the emails aren't getting delivered. So here's just like a quick little definition sheet of each one of those: the requests, the delivered, opens, unique clicks, unique bounce, spam reports that I briefly described. So this will be there if you have, so you need to reference it in the future or anything like that. And then email deliverability, some things just to help your emails out and get delivered. Formatting them, keep them clean. Don't throw a lot of extra images in there, a lot of unnecessary links, photos, things of that. Keep it simple, straight to the point. Clean your email list out. If you hit a spam trap on one of your emails, it could prevent your email from getting sent to some of the other email addresses on your list, because it's smart enough to realize, wait, some of these are spam. We don't want this spamming out people. We don't want to get viruses and things of that nature. So that will also affect your delivery rate. Using replacement tags is kind of just to make your emails more personal. So instead of saying hi participant, you can actually have hi first name, and their first name will make your participants feel special. Like, oh, they took the time to type out this email for me. Some of them know that it's not doing that, but others, normally some of the older ones, it's like, oh, wow, they personalized this email for me. I feel special. They love me. I love them back. Let me go buy some merchandise. Consistent volume. So if your race is 500 people, sending an email to a 20,000 person list might not be the best idea. And then advanced white labeling will help your delivery rate. We also have a wonderful blog post that goes through the steps of enabling white labeling. So if you go to runsignup.blog, that's our blog. Keep it up to date. So you have a lot of information on there. So if you just search white labeling, it will give you the step-by-step walkthrough of what you need to do with who hosts your domain to add in the DNS records for that. And once again, I'm Herman at RunSignup.com, and this is Brian Flynn at RunSignup.com. Yes.
Someone unsubscribes from, let's just say, list A, and they're on my unsubscribe thing. Is there anything I need to do with that? Because if I send another email to list A, are they off that list?
Okay, so with the unsubscribing, it's going to be based on your email account for the race. So if you have them on, let's say you have them on every list because they run a lot, if they unsubscribe from one list, it's going to go in the email system as they unsubscribe. So it's going to go for every email you send and not just list basis. If they unsubscribe from one race, and you download that list from there, they'll get removed. But if you pull that list from your computer, add it to
from the unsubscribed event into another event, then they will be off.
Yes.
That's all.
Okay. So with unsubscribing, it is on a race by race basis. So if you just have that list on your computer, and every time you get a new race, you just upload that list from your computer, anybody who unsubscribes, they're going to start getting emails again. So they're going to email you angry in all caps. I unsubscribed. Why am I getting this email again? It's just because the list hasn't been cleaned because it's just sitting on your computer. So if you're going to move lists from race to race, it would be best to download them from the race and then upload them to your new race. We also suggest if you have a partner page, sending your mass emails from the partner page and only using race-specific communications from the race pages. Yes.
Do you guys can we set up confirmation emails? Because we get a lot of emails that people don't have. I don't know if they can't find a confirmation that they actually registered.
Can we set up confirmation emails? So the confirmation emails are automatically set up. So in the race dashboard under race notifications, general settings, you'll have a list of every automated email. So under the user registered section, race registration section, the user registered email, that's going to be your confirmation email. So that automatically gets sent out every time somebody registers. So there's nothing that you need to do for that.
So do we have access to that?
Yes.
Because like people have shown up for race and say, oh, I didn't get a confirmation email like she's saying, and now you're dealing with trying to find.
Yes, you have it. So also for every registration, you can go back in and manage it. And there's a resend confirmation email link. By default, the confirmation email is turned on. In rare cases, it accidentally gets cut off. Somebody just might be in there scrolling and accidentally click it, looking at what's on there. But again, it's in the race tab, notifications, general settings. That's where you'll find all of your confirmation emails. Yes.
Is there a way to export unsubscribes, or does it have to again be by race?
When you say export, you mean like pull them from your list?
Know who's unsubscribed.
Oh yes, you're able to see that in email marketing reports, and then the last option is your unsubscribed recipients list.
Right.
And you can search that by date. You can search by name, but it's just going to go on. It's going to be the list there.
Right.
You should be able to export that list too.
At the very bottom, just to download all the CSV. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
So the automated emails, if we have, say they came in, they thought about registering, and they left, we have that set up. We have two of them set up where will they still get the automated email if they've registered?
So there's a lot of logic involved in the automated emails. So if somebody, like you're saying, you set up an email to go out 3 days afterwards, but they came back the next day and registered, they're already signed up. We don't want to say, hey, come back and register when they've already registered, because then that's confusing. So we check it depends on the email specifically. In incomplete registration emails, we check to make sure that they haven't come back and registered since sending it. So we make sure, you haven't already registered. Price increase emails and stuff, if your race has a cap and you've hit your cap, we will not send the email out, because we don't want to send an email out to everybody saying, hey, come and register, and then they go to register and then it's capped, because that makes people mad. So a lot of these instances we can run. So there's some logic behind those automated emails that checks to make sure it's appropriate to send to them before going out. And just one other thing on this is that we have a deduplication, which the guys mentioned when you go through and you'll see how many emails have been deduplicated and stuff when sending it. We have a smart deduplication system, I would say. So if you're using replacement tag, or rather, if you're not using replacement tags, and say a whole family of 4 is signed up under one email address, when we go to send an email, we'll only send one copy of that email, because the content of that email is the same for all 4 people, so why would we send 4 the exact carbon copy emails? However, if you're using replacement tags, like putting in their name, their bid number, a link to their registration so they can edit it, the content of each of those emails would be different, right? Because it's your personal bid number, your registration link, and those types of things. So if we see that the content of the email is different, we'll send all 4 copies. So that way, like you have that situation of family of 4 signed up on the same email address, I send you a quick marketing email, you only get it once, but I send you out a big confirmation email, double check your registration information, they'll get all 4 copies. So you do get that. Kind of related back to automated. Automated emails are a little bit more strict. We will only send one email to an automated email to an address, because you don't want to get 4 incomplete registration emails all at once, because you try to sign up 4 different people. So the automated emails are a little bit more strict on the excludes, but if you manually send an email, that's how we handle the deduplication.
Yeah, that's a bonus, because I use Constant Contact and RunSignup email, and we get a lot of that multi-registration, and I put tags in Constant Contact, and they only get 1 email from Constant Contact. So we get blowback on that all the time. And I haven't used RunSignup for that yet, but this year I will be because of that, because that's a good feature that you're paying all that money for Constant Contact, and they will not do that. They'll only send 1 email.
Yeah, and that's because it's very specific to our industry. Typically, you don't want to hit somebody with 4 emails in that, and this is very specific use case of saying, well, these are 4 completely separate registration information. The content is different. I want to hit you 4 times, and that's something that, like you said, MailChimp and Constant Contact don't have that. So,
Where are the emails captured for people who are interested in learning more about it? Have we ever talked about it?
So we just launched a new email capture pop-up, which I believe if you're referencing, somebody's on the page, they can put in their name and their email address. Essentially, you're going to do what Herman showed before. We're going to create a custom list to drop things. So you go to that Manage List tab and create a new list. Once you have a list set up, when you go to that email capture tab, it's going to ask you essentially, what list do I want to put these emails into? So you create the list, and then you say, yeah, I want all the captured emails to go into here, and then you'll have that list, which will represent everybody who put into that form.
Yeah, I just set that up.
We also have a blog post on it. So at runsignup.blog. So at runsignup.blog, it's the email capture one. Yes.
Can you talk a little bit more about the partner level and then the race-specific emails that go out?
So with your partner level, it's going to be an overall page for your races. So if you have marketing communication for all of your races, you're just going to want to use your partner page. So this way you can say everybody on your list for the month of January, hey, here are our races. So you can let them know, oh, we have a multi-race bundle set up. You register for these 3 races in January, you'll get X amount of % off for it. So suppose if you send that from each one of your races that you have in January. So if somebody unsubscribes, it's like, okay, well, I know I'm only running 1 race in January. I know what race I'm running, so I want to unsubscribe from this. So now you don't update your list. You send it from race 2, they get hit again. You send it from race 3, they get hit again. And meanwhile, they're at home mashing the unsubscribe button. Like, what's going on? Why am I still getting these emails? So if you do it from the partner page, they unsubscribe from the partner page. It's just 1 unsubscribe for them. So now they're not upset at you for you spamming them with emails. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming to our email marketing presentation. It is lunchtime now, so lunch should be set up or getting set up.